Here's something a lot of couples who come to me for counseling didn't realize when they were getting married, that the marriage isn't the only relationship that they're committing to. They're also marrying into a second family, the in-laws, and that family, well, without even trying, can sometimes destroy the marriage. Let's talk about the signs that your in-laws are eroding your marriage, and let me give you just a little piece of advice at the end about how to handle it if they are. My name is Chef Kinkade. On this channel, we talk about how to have smarter people skills and better relationships, because those are the things that will really affect the quality of your life more than anything else. When things feel off in your marriage, sometimes the problem isn't in the marriage, sometimes the problem is around the marriage. Some people are fortunate to have a great relationship with their in-laws. Other people, not so much. And the reason that your in-laws can become such a problem in the relationship is that your spouse is part of a family system with them. And there are relationships between the dad and the son and the mom and the daughter and the brothers and sisters and anyone else in the family. And each of those relationships influences the rest of the family members. So when a new member arrives to a family, like you, the whole family needs to adjust, and that's where stress and conflict can appear. So here are 6 warning signs that your in-laws are affecting your relationship with your spouse. But first, I'd love to hear some of the craziest in-law stories that you've experienced or know someone who has. Just include them in the comments section below. Okay, so here's sign number 1. I've counseled people who have said that time with their in-laws, because of the family dysfunction, felt worse than having a root canal. Well, that's not healthy. You shouldn't need a recovery day after celebrating, let's say, somebody's birthday dinner. So sign number 1 is that you leave every family gathering emotionally drained. Now, sign number 2. Sometimes normally self-assured, responsible adults can revert back to 12 years old when they're around their family of origin, your in-laws. This usually points to enmeshment, where loyalty to the family of origin overrides their adult relationship. So that's sign number 2. Your spouse becomes a different person around your in-laws. Now here's sign number 3. Some families tend to conversationally neglect their son or their daughter-in-law. It's like you're physically there, but they can't see you. They tell stories you don't get, they tell jokes that you're not in on, they make decisions without your input. That's not harmless nostalgia. It's a subtle form of exclusion. So sign number 3 is that you're always the outsider in the conversation. Okay, sign number 4. Years ago, I worked with a couple whose mom/mother-in-law showed up unannounced with food 3 times a week. And you might think to yourself, that would be great if my mother-in-law showed up with food 3 times a week. The problem was that she insisted on eating with them. And when they gently asked for space, she said, well, I'm just trying to help. Well, maybe that's what she was trying to do. But no matter whether it really was or wasn't, real love honors limits. Smothering isn't support. Love that crosses boundaries isn't really love. That's control with good PR. Showing up unannounced, criticizing your parenting, fixing stuff around your house without you asking. Sign number 4 is that boundaries get trampled, and then they blame you or even gaslight you into believing that you're the problem. Okay, sign number 5, and I've seen this one a lot. When you're with the in-laws, something is said or done that is hurtful, and then when you bring it up with your spouse, he or she just shrugs and says, well, that's just how they are. The problem is that minimizing pain doesn't protect peace in your relationship. It just kind of prolongs the tension. So that's sign number 5. Your spouse defends the in-laws instead of you. And here's sign number 6. You and your spouse have stopped talking about the problems with the in-laws altogether, because silence sometimes feels safer than starting another fight. But unresolved tension doesn't just disappear. It just gets quieter and heavier, sort of like an elephant in the room. Now let me ask you, which one of those signs hit a little too close to home for you, or which ones have you seen play out in other people's relationships? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your experience. Now, how do you handle it? Well, that could be a whole channel of videos on its own, but my main piece of advice is this. When a spouse has a problem with an in-law, it's the couple's problem too. There's no dealing with the situation solo. Whether or not a couple agrees on all aspects of the situation, a couple has to become a united front. And that begins by having effective conversations about very difficult, very sensitive issues, because he or she may be completely clueless about the situation or how it's even making you feel. Focus on your feelings, owning them with I statements, like, I feel hurt when your mother, whatever it is that your mother-in-law does. Try to avoid being critical of your in-laws, because criticism is likely only going to get a protective response from your spouse instead of empathy. This is your spouse's mother or father, someone that they think highly of, that they love, and you're trying to get your spouse's support. So approach them as you would want to be approached if they had a problem with your parents. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, hit subscribe for smarter people skills and better relationships. And I'd love to see you in the next video. Grace and peace to you.